Hello and welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of Jobless Weebs.
Yeah.
My name is Marco, the wrong Mexican,
And I'm Brian.
and we're back.
We're back.
Man, it was, what,
Yeah.
a little bit more than a month?
Yeah, it was quite some time.
It was
We're back.
super
So
fast.
great.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
new studio, it's, I hope this is not the final. You know,
right.
like the
Always
final
making
form of the
improvements.
studio. Like,
Mhm.
I'm thinking that this part looks a little empty. You know, before
yeah.
we had that bookcase, or well, that figurine case,
Oh yes.
because I never put books in there.
Figure games.
And you know, we
Yeah,
had all
yeah,
of
we
it
had
here
it,
and the
so
big
huge.
screen on the
Yep.
TV, but we finally have a studio especially for this and for the Beat Saber. So I'm kind of excited. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking into
Fill
putting
up some
something in
space
here.
Cool.
But
Like maybe a poster. That'd be cool.
yeah, my wife would just here.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
No. Oh well, maybe. It all depends on the poster.
Oh yes. It all depends. Yeah.
Has to be PG. We're a PG podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, how have you been, Brian? You know, we've seen each other. We
have,
kept in contact, but
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I've been mostly catching up on a few things in my day-to-day stuff, and let's see. Oh, I started a few of the new anime for this season, and it's always it's always like a toss-up of starting a new one. How's it gonna be? What's it gonna be like? And oh my gosh, Goodbye Dragon Life is really odd.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I told you that was garbage. That was garbage.
Yep. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And we're still watching it. We're
still watching it. Yep.
Dude, like the one that I was surprised was the one that you told me about the bard guy. I mean the talker.
Oh
Was
yes, the talker one. Yeah.
Yeah, because you told me like, he got betrayed, and I was like, oh, maybe he got stabbed in the back or something. It's like, no, someone just embezzled funds, and he just sold them to slavery. He was like, whoa, that escalated quickly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, quite the revenge right there.
Yeah. You know, me too. I also started watching a few of the animes, a few of the ones like Love Live Superstar. Man, like the first episode was just like canon. Like the leader just decided to go up and leave and form another school idol with Margaret, who was the antagonist from the last season. And he's like, oh man, but you know, I have hopes that all of them will come together and they will become like a group of 11, which is unheard of in Love Live. I mean, you know, Nijigasaki School Idol Club.
Yeah, that was a little different.
They kind of like implemented that a little bit, but mostly it's just them being independent or in units. And you know, I'm excited to see how they become a unit or how they actually manage things with Leah. Like, I don't really want to see them fight each other like for you know the Love Live title. That's just gonna break my heart. And I'm gonna support Canon all the way. So it's like, I mean, I like all the other characters.
Oh yes.
But it's like, oh man, it's like, oh. But you know, really excited about this new season.
Yeah.
Like excited as well because you know we're gonna start with the mapping on the Beat Saber songs.
Yes. Looking
really like the past 2.5 months I was not able because you know it was all the moving hassle, and now that after I moved it was like all like set up the studio hassle, and
getting it all together,
everything else hassle.
Yep.
So, but you know, it's good to finally settle down a bit and talk about anime.
That's right. To the good old stuff.
And boy, for today we have something that I think it just ended, right? This past season.
Yep.
Actually, the manga, it also ended. No, not too long ago.
There you go.
And the anime was adapted, I would say, just up to the first part of the manga, like the first half of the manga.
I see.
Because so the anime we're gonna talk about is called Fable. And yes, this anime or this manga rather The first part, because it's called like I think it's the manga is called Fable First Encounter or something like that,
Oh, okay.
and then the second part of the manga it came out a little later. It's called Fable Second Encounter,
Second encounter.
and it just ended. And dude, let me tell you, it's a
Yeah.
piece of art,
Yeah.
and never in my life I had laughed at a manga the way I did it. And and this is telling something because I
Yeah.
finished reading the manga at 4 in the morning on a Sunday before a really important training the next day at 7 a.m. At
Oh
which
gosh.
I got late.
Yep.
And I was
That's
able to just get
incredible.
away with it because I have this face.
Oh,
Just
you're
to
right.
make it even worse after waking up and sleep
After a
deprived.
very small amount of sleep. Yep.
And yeah, I just
Getting
got
away
to my
with it.
training. It was an online training, luckily, because otherwise it would have been way worse. Um, yeah, it was an online training. I just turned on my camera, and they're like, "Did you just got in?" Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a cold, and they saw my face, and it's like, dude, I think you caught more than a cold, but sure,
Oh,
just
dear.
make sure to participate on the
Yeah.
training, and you'll be good. And
Oh man,
everything went good.
lucky.
Yeah, that was a lucky
Yeah.
month. But I mean,
Wow.
leaving that outside.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
It must have been incredible for that to be worth it.
dude, I was,
Yeah.
it was just
Oh
so
man.
like the cliffhangers were just so good that it was one of those scenes where you were just about to drop everything, and I was like, I don't need sleep, I need
I
answers.
need answers.
Uh, but yeah, we might cover a little bit of it because
Yeah,
this is one of those series that I hope it can be adapted completely.
completely. That would be really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna guess it did really well. And yeah, second season all the way. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, it has enough content to make probably 4 seasons and cover all the stuff that needs to be covered.
Okay.
Because like the world is not it's not that big. The world building is not
Yeah.
that big. Everything happens kind of like pretty locally, and
Yeah.
somehow, even though some characters seem to be kind of like coming from far away or
Mm.
disconnected, they have some kind of connection with some of the existing characters.
Okay.
And in
Yeah.
addition, one of the things that I liked was the character design
Oh
and the
yes.
animation overall, because it it doesn't look kind of like this contemporary anime style. It
Yeah.
actually kind of looks more like 80s or 90s anime style, like
Yeah.
City Hunter.
Like City Hunter, yeah, it has that vibe to it. Mhm.
And even the humor is a bit like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
some parts in the humor, it's just so hilarious because they don't say
Yeah.
anything. It's just how the character acts that you just generally just laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And like I remember, like there was this one chapter that I was reading
Uh-huh.
that it was just panel by panel how something was going down, and I was just laughing, and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna make sure not to make a lot of noise
Oh
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was in my bed and
Wake
I was
up
like
anybody.
okay, just 5 more and I'll go to sleep because it's already 2 in the morning.
And kept going. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Well, the anime certainly seems like it captured a lot of that style, a lot of that uh, atmosphere. I would say uh, there's some parts in the anime where it's just slapstick comedy. It's so great, especially with the girl, the sister Yoko. Oh man, she
oh
cracked me up
yes,
so
yeah, that
much.
is one of the best characters.
Yes, oh yes.
But okay, yeah,
Yeah, let's
let's
jump to
start.
it.
Let's start from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
That was good for a good general review. But the beginning,
Yep.
uh, we get Sato.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we're gonna jump a lot of stuff. Sato,
Yeah.
it's this guy. He's wearing
Like a ski mask.
yeah, like a
Like
ski
a
mask. He's like
uh,
he looks like your standard thief,
yeah.
but in reality he's a pro.
Pro hitman.
He's a
Hmm.
pro hitman. And after he finishes one mission, he is told pretty much just to lay low
Yeah.
for 1 year.
For 1 year. Mhm.
just to lay low because he has been doing a lot of jobs and just so
Yeah,
that.
there's been a lot of activity, and they want to take the heat off, take the heat away for a while.
So
Mhm.
what his boss does is that he has connections with some yakuza organization in Osaka, Japan,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna go there. You're gonna be pretending because it's him and it's Yoko, his driver." And he's like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
just both of you. You're gonna go there. You're gonna be brothers. Just
Oh,
spend
brother and
time there
sister.
for
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, sister. You're gonna
Oh yes.
spend time there for 1 year in
Yep.
Osaka. If you want to get a job, if you just want to lace around,
Yeah. You could do anything
like
you want,
you can do
basically.
whatever.
Just
Just
don't kill
just
anyone.
don't do any hitman jobs,
Yeah.
because that's not why I'm sending you there.
Hmm.
And Sato is this pragmatic character
Yeah.
that he's like, okay, and I reckon it must have been kind of hard,
Yeah.
especially for the anime voice actors, because like anime characters somehow are really expressive,
Oh yes.
and this guy
Right.
was like, okay, but
Yeah.
it
He's
was not
very
it was not the
deadpan.
type of seriousness that you see from other serious characters, even.
True. He has a very odd type of demeanor, I would say. Because yeah, he's very deadpan, but he has a very straight laced, um, like personality. With a little bit of quirkiness too. He has a little bit of social. I'm not sure what it is, but like ineptitude, I would say. So he doesn't really like socially get along with people. But yeah, he's very cool type of character. And then Yoko. Oh, by the way, those names are given to them
Oh yeah, yeah,
when
because
they're just to
those
lay
are not
low.
even their
Yeah, they're not
names.
their
Yeah,
real names. Yeah, and I don't think we get really their real names. Like the boss never mentions them by name.
we never do, and that's the other thing. We
Uh-huh.
never really get a concrete background story for them. Like we get some beats that they share, or like
Yeah,
tiny flashbacks from both of them,
yeah.
but never really, like a like an arc for them to be like, hey, this is their origin story. It's like, no, that
Uh-huh.
doesn't matter, because essentially up until they get to Osaka, they never existed to begin with.
Basically, basically, yeah. You're totally right. Yeah, it's incredible, incredible. Because they're just so pro at what they do, uh, and I think their interaction at the beginning is really, really hilarious when they get their identities, their driver's license. His photo is a really crappy photo. He's like, what? He's like, he hates it basically, but then he's like, oh, I'm so and so. I'm Sato. And he's like, hey, can I see your identity? And she's like, no, like I'm not gonna show you. And it's just a great interaction
Yeah,
that goes
yeah,
on
and
for a
he's
little
always like,
while.
well, as a pro, I should be doing this,
Oh
and
yes.
he's like, hmm, okay, okay, and he has
Oh
this
yeah.
switch
The switch.
when
He flips the switch whenever he like brings on a new persona or something. Oh, it's so funny. Oh my gosh.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the yakuza, I guess
Yes.
the yakuza boss,
Mhm.
he's like, oh yeah, I've dealt with your organization, Fable, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, is the organization is that the organization?
Zation.
But the
Mhm.
thing is that this organization has built or has become infamous up to the point of becoming something like that, like a Fable.
Yeah, Fable.
Something that it's that might or might not exist, but like there's like this elite group of hitmen
Mhm.
that you know
That are so good that no one ever
yeah, no one has ever
even
seen them. They
seen
don't know
them.
if
Yeah.
it's one person or if it's
Ah,
a group, but they just
if
call
they
him like,
exist
are
at
you
all.
Fable? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a pro. And the yakuza boss, he's delighted.
Yeah,
I
he thinks they're
somehow
good
feel that the
time.
yakuza boss did
Uh-huh.
knew something about especially because he had uh, hired them before. Maybe
He knew.
not Sato, but he had hired
Ah,
the organization before,
oh, I see.
and he
I
was
see.
like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Stay in one of our safe house." And one of the commanders of that yakuza boss, kind of like the second in command, he's like, "Nah, this looks really fishy." And he's like, "You're a
Mm,
yakuza. Like,
yeah,
can you even say that? That
yeah,
something looks fishy?"
and he's really suspicious about it. I, well, to the point, more like he doubts that Sato is going to be, like a stand-up uh, type of character where he can like trust him to be in his area. Basically, it's his
And at the
area.
same time, he
Yeah.
doesn't even feel like he's a hitman
Ah,
as
that's
well.
right. He didn't trust that either.
Because he's
Yeah.
like, that
Uh
dude is a
huh.
hitman. It's like, are you kidding me? I can probably
Yeah.
beat him up in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So he.
And that
Yeah.
they get to the safe house. Like
Uh-huh.
each one of them, Sato has his own house,
Yep.
and Yoko also has her own house right next to each other.
Yep.
He discovers the box like all across his house
Oh,
because
the
he's
hidden
yeah the
cameras.
hidden
Ah,
cameras.
yes, yes.
Yoko doesn't discover that, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's fine,
It's fine. Yeah.
whatever. And for all we know,
Uh-huh.
Yoko is just the driver of this guy.
Yes. Yes.
And more on that later.
Well, the litter, yes, totally, totally. Yeah, I thought the character development in the show is fantastic. Yeah, as we said, yeah, there's like a little bit of world building. It's very localized, but the character development is great. Lot of moving parts, different things. But yeah, we find out they don't really change, but we do see a lot of like what type of people they are as the show goes along.
Yeah. Well, instead of diving like a episode by episode kind of thing, I guess we could
Mm.
dive instead of like kind of like arc by arc
Arc by
kind of
arc.
thing.
Yeah, that'd be
Because
much
like
easier. Yeah.
the first part of the arc is just
Uh,
the captain. I don't remember his name. Do you remember his name? Yeah. So the captain Obihara, he's still like telling his underlings just like, hey,
mm,
I want you to take a look at this guy and beat the
mm.
crap out of him. And he's like, are you sure? Like I thought they were coming with the bus. Like, oh, you do whatever I say. And Sato is like, wait, I'm supposed to be a regular guy. What would a regular guy do at this point? Because
Yeah.
there's a point that those underlings just pay some talks,
Ooh,
and he gets
yeah.
surrounded, and
Yeah,
and
Liz is like a
he flips the
kickboxer.
switch, and he's like, no, please, no, and starts
Uh-huh.
crying and sobbing
Uh-huh.
and
And
gets
it's
punched. And even though he
yeah.
gets punched, he's like, oh, I should move a little just so that I can resist the
Yeah.
hit. And
Uh-huh. And then a kick and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like ease up the hit, but I'm still gonna go flying to make it look
yeah,
good." And I thought it was incredible because it's just this pro hitman who's dealing with amateurs and who think they can like beat the crap out of him, but he just plays along with it. It's so cool. It's so cool.
yeah,
Loved it.
and a girl passes by. Her name is Misaki. She will be introduced a little later on.
Uh,
She becomes her his
Another
coworker. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but she looks at him how he's crying, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, are
He,
you
he used
okay?"
my
Like
handkerchief.
yeah, she gives him a handkerchief. She helps them, but Sato is he's harassed a lot,
Oh
like
yes.
several times,
Oh
up to a
yes.
point like it kind of stops after he jumps out of a freaking bridge.
Yeah.
And he's
Yep.
like, no, please, no. And like, just like freaking parkour
And he
down the
just
bridge and
yeah, and
just
he's
keeps
running
running.
super
And the
fast.
talks were like, how the freak did he
How did
get
they
down there?
do that? Yeah. And that's when they kind of think like he's not normal. But it's kind of interesting they don't really like her harass him anymore. Uh and at that point that's the episode where he also gets he goes to a pet shop and he's attracted to this bird
Oh, yeah.
and this bird it reminds him of his favorite brand I guess the Nighthawk
Oh,
because it's like his
yeah.
favorite gun that he
Yeah.
has so yeah he's like I'm gonna get this bird, and Yoko is like, okay, it's a lot of money, and so yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, this first arc we see them also uh, kind of he's also tested by the boss. No, the captain.
The captain,
The
yeah.
captain, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, in this episode, the captain is like, I still don't think you are who they say or who my boss says you are. So it's
I
like,
don't believe it.
yeah, he just takes him to like a warehouse and it's like, you see that guy, he owns his money and he has done despicable things.
Yeah, terrible things. So we're gonna
he's like,
kill
yeah,
him anyway,
it's like,
but I
so
want you to
I
kill
wanted
him.
you to take him down. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like orders are orders, and he's like, oh, I'll take the blame for it. Just do what I say, and he's
Yeah.
like, no, it's like I don't need the gun,
Right.
and he's like, okay,
just do
yeah,
it.
he just flips the switch,
Flips the switch, kid.
and you know
It's a
that
good
other
self-hypnotizing
yeah, that other tug
practice.
is so like, hey, if you beat the crap out of the crap out of that guy, we will forgive you.
Ah,
And
yes.
you can walk
And
out,
you can,
and you know, and he's like,
stay for a
really?
year.
Oh, I'll do it then. And you know,
Oh, the other guy. Oh, right. Yes,
oh,
yes.
Well, there
Yeah.
are actually several, several
Yeah.
guys.
Uh-huh.
I think that the ones that you were thinking of, it's the one that it's higher, like the one of the underlings.
The
hires,
blonde-haired guy?
Yeah, the blonde-haired guy.
Blonde-haired guy. That's right.
Yeah, well,
Ryu or Rio, something like that.
Yeah, Koroshio, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hires some people, but you know, when Obihara takes him in his car, they go to like a warehouse, and he gives him a gun, and he's like, no, I can take him. And you know, the other guy is ready to beat the crap out of him and just gets taken down. And
instantly.
And the captain is like, I'm in danger.
Right. And he even pulls a gun on Sato and basically tells him, hey, like, if you don't kill him, I'm gonna kill you. And he like, and there's a little bit of exposition here. We learn a little bit more about the captain and the pressure that he has on being a captain. And then Sato basically tells him again, hey, yeah, I'm not here to kill anyone. That's not what I want to do. But if you don't believe me, then whatever. But take my word for it. Yeah. And yeah, it was incredible. So he basically does let him, like, you know, yeah, you can stay for the year. I won't like harass you anymore. And then he kills the guy who the big guy who was gonna get killed anyway. So that was it's kind of interesting. I kind of saw this part as a conflict or a clash of orders. Like, who do you listen to? Like the yakuza, who's like your family, or like your boss, who you like work for, or well, I guess Sato, he's not connected with the yakuza.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that Sato had
like,
nothing to do with. And well, the thing is that the yakuza or the captain at this point, he thought of the organization that Sato worked for as you know, a contractor, kind of like below them. He was like, yeah, you know, I still have the upper hand as a yakuza organization. We still have the upper hand. We just use them, you know, as like as chips that to be used and wasted.
To move on the board.
That's why he was like, yeah, that's why I think like we're still like, you still have to do whatever I say, even though your boss told you not to kill anyone.
Yeah.
But then you know, a little more on that later.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because Obihara, he's thinking that the status quo is either below or about the same in authority. But okay, so you know, the next thing that happens is that Sato is like, hey, he just asks his sister, like, what would a normal person do? Is like, I don't know, like, you get a job that pays you like 800 yen an hour. And he's like, so if I do that, I would be normal? Yeah, just do that.
The
And
sister is so funny.
yeah,
Oh
the
gosh.
sister is just
And
like,
what does she do? She just drinks herself to oblivion every night. Oh, even during the day. She cracks me up. Oh, it's so funny.
I love every episode when she gets drunk,
Yeah.
because it's always
Yeah.
this classic stuff, because she's not drinking alone a lot of those
A
times.
lot of the
She's
time,
drinking with
yeah.
men. And
At the
it's like
bar,
you are ready for like, oh no, like she's getting drunk and those guys are gonna
Right.
do some
terrible
crappy
things
stuff
to
with
her,
it. No,
right?
she like handles her alcohol really well, and
Uh-huh.
she has the time of her life. Just seeing those dudes
Yeah.
just like
Just get
tumbling and trying to
Yep.
go with her, trying to look cool, and then just like puke
Puke,
and
yep,
fall
and
again.
fall around. Oh,
And she's like, "Oh my god, he woke up! Oh, he's so cute!" And she's like, I want to take him home and see what else he does." And
right. And see him follow and make mess, basically. Oh, it's so
yeah, I mean,
oh
because that happened
pretty early on.
pretty early on,
with-
yeah. But
with
that
one of
happened with one of the yakuza.
yeah, one of the other grunt Yakuza guys. Oh yes, Takahashi Katsuya.
Yeah, Takahashi.
Yeah,
and
he's basically a driver in the
the
Yakuza.
yakuza. Yeah, he's a low minion,
Yeah.
but he wants to look cool. And the thing is that he's one of the ones that has access to the cameras from Joko, because he's like, hey,
Yes.
I don't have access to the cameras of this guy, but I have access for the sister, and that's the one that I care.
Right.
And he just wants to get her, but she's just like, oh, he's so cute, and she's like, come here, and the guy is just like stoned to death, and he's like,
just incoherent. Oh, it's hilarious, man.
yeah, like, and I think the anime only shows two drunk guys.
Yes.
I mean, up to like really, really drunk, which is one of these yakuza guys, and the other one, it's
a pickup artist.
Yeah. It's a guy that just like to pick up girls, and he's like, yeah, I gotta act cool in front of him, because you're like, this is kind of like a side story, so it's fine if we go on a tangent.
Yeah.
But it's like, I like that episode because he's trying to look cool,
right? And he's like super adept at talking, so he can like spin circles around girls and be like the perfect man.
And he has this kind of deal with the bartender.
Oh yes.
But the bartender is like, yeah, and at the same time, but later the freaking bartender is like, no, better make this fair. If she's getting drunk, you're getting drunk.
You're getting drunk
and
too.
This is like a battle of just to see who handles alcohol better, and she always wins. And the bartender is kind of like feels a little bad, and he's just like, you shouldn't have done that. And he's kind of like signaling always the bartender, like, please don't put alcohol in mine, or don't make it that strong, and make it stronger for her, just so that I can bet her. but yeah, the bartender is like, no, that's my call, like, I gotta be fair, like the alcohol that I put to her, I put to you. And like he's always like tumbling and vomiting. And Yoko is super delighted. She's like, oh my god, this is
she
the
gets
best.
a kick out of it. Oh gosh.
Oh
yeah. Those were probably my favorite episodes.
Dude, and in the manga, like, some of those continue and
really
they're hilarious. They're hilarious because it's panel by panel, and it just like looks, I don't know, even though there's a lack of movement because it's a panel by panel, it's just like draw enough that you can see how things are going down. Like, if a character were about to fall, you can see like kind of like the slow motion of how he's falling, and he's making his drunk face of like, and how Joko is dying of laughter, and she's like, oh my god,
it's very detailed. Oh, that's so funny. Wow.
But anyway, back to the story.
Oh yes, and the plot.
Sato goes back to work, or rather, he gets a job. And it was kind of like a graphic design company, right? Like a really small ones where they would make like cards or or posters for like
Mhm.
advertising and such.
Yeah,
And it's a really small company. It's just
very
like
small. Yeah, there's like
the owner,
uh,
two
he,
designers,
yeah.
and him, and he is just like the delivery guy,
Mhm.
and he always use his bike.
Oh yes, and he's really fast.
Yeah, and
Everything he does, he's like really good at. I don't know why.
and
Yeah,
and one of the designers is the girl that he met
yeah,
early while he was
Misaki.
being bullied. It's Misaki,
Ah,
and there is this another dude that he's just a piece of garbage.
oh yeah, lowest of the low. Oh yeah, he basically is stalking Misaki and and doing nefarious stuff like putting cameras in her place and and basically being a really terrible guy. That is also a small arc. Um, uh, I think it happens kind of
Well,
later on.
yeah, he has kind of like a small arc,
Yeah.
and well, it continues kind of
Oh yes.
up until the end of the anime.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, he's putting like there's a point where he goes, he puts cameras,
Hmm.
um, to to record Misaki while she was at her house,
Yeah.
and
And she's
and he
holding
also,
down like
yeah,
three or four jobs.
he
So
also
she's
steals a
way
lot of
more.
like her keys. But
Yeah.
we get a peek in the life of Misaki, and she's not
Yeah.
only working as a designer, she's working some other jobs because apparently she has a lot of debts, and that's also part of the story
Mm.
because she used to be kind of like a hostess of
Ah,
some
yeah.
sort,
Mm.
and she got a
Like
little
an
bit
idol.
involved with shady organizations that were
Uh,
kind of like making her do some R-rated things.
uh,
But she got away from that life, but
yeah.
that life never really got away from her in a
Yeah.
way. um and I guess this is also the arc where one of the yakuza guys from the family that is taking care of Sato,
Uh,
it's released from jail, right?
yes, after 15 years, released from jail, and and the captain, it's his brother. So he tells him, yeah,
Well,
like,
his brother in the
to,
organization.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, right, true, yeah, yeah. And he tells him, yeah, like you're out now. Congratulations, you can like do whatever you want. Just like just stay on the up and up.
Yeah, he tells like, yeah,
Don't
you
do
know
like
what?
call
Like
girl
we're
business.
yakuza, but we
Yeah,
don't do a lot of, or rather, like the crime that we do is different, or
oh
like things
yes,
are
yes,
handled different as they were
yeah,
15 years ago before
yeah.
you went to jail.
Mhm.
But the guy is like, no, we gotta make more money, we gotta expand our territory. He's like, what do we do?
Right.
Oh, let's get some girls so
Get
that
some
we can
girls.
do some R-rated stuff.
Yeah,
And he gets some underlings and just tells them
yeah.
like, hey, yeah,
Round up some
I'm gonna need you
girls.
to run a background on some of these girls.
Mhm.
And Misaki happens to be, I guess, one of the good catches,
Mhm.
and so he pretty much threatens her
Yeah, blackmails her. Yeah,
to work for her for I think a couple years or so,
yeah, something like that.
and then that he would help pay her debt.
Yeah,
And he's like, well, and if you don't want to help us, people around you's gonna suffer. and
yeah.
and he's
At first, she
yeah,
refuses
she
and
refused at
tells him
first.
no, and so he makes good on his promise by having some of her coworkers,
Yeah,
her
the owner,
boss, yeah, the
yeah.
owner. He gets beat up. It's nothing too serious. Like he comes back pretty soon
Yeah,
afterwards,
pretty rough enough,
with
but
yeah, like a broken nose or something. But she's intimidated, and she doesn't like that other people are in danger because of her. So she goes along with it. The thing is, well, reluctantly, the thing is, the captain knows of her, and of course Sato knows her, and he kind of picks up on a lot of things because they're working together, and they're basically neighbors.
Yeah, they live a few
Yeah,
streets
they live
away,
pretty
right?
close. So he picks up on a lot of these things that are going on, and he kind of feels bad for her. Uh, so he starts making a plan to get her out, basically. And it's a really cool plan. Like he starts making his own bullets. He makes
Yeah,
his own like barrel for his gun because he was like, I don't know, weird odd thing about not having a gun on his vacation. But yeah, he has his Nighthawk, and he makes homemade bullets, and he makes a plan with Yoko to spring Misaki out.
yeah. And the thing is that this guy, it's causing an internal conflict with the organization.
Yes.
So there are some other people within the organization that are trying to stop him,
Yeah.
mainly because he's trying to steal their part of their business.
Right. Right.
Not because he was doing something bad. It was mainly because he
Right.
was trying to steal the business from someone else in the organization that already had that.
Uh-huh.
And so this guy is hiring some hitmen, and he's like,
Right.
yeah, like they're never gonna do anything to us because we're the best, we're pros. And
Yeah.
those guys were able to kind of like beat some thugs, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, you're the real deal. And we're describing this really fast,
It
actually,
is very
but
fast. Yeah. That's okay.
yeah, on the anime they do take their time because that process of Misaki's rescue takes like around 3 episodes or so,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. That sounds right.
But yeah, it comes to the point where Sato just goes to the warehouse where Misaki's being kept, and it's full of thugs.
Mm-hmm.
But Sato is beating the crap out of everyone, and like
Yeah.
no one even notices because there's a point where they're like, okay, you know what, we got Misaki, where we're gonna tag
Right. We'll
with
talk
this
business.
other yakuza guy
Uh-huh.
because he got caught, and he was just kind of like making time, and he was like, yeah, just get the girl back there, and if you want to do whatever stuff, yeah, go ahead
Go
and
ahead.
do it.
Yeah.
Just don't roughen her up because she's merchandise. And while the guy is talking with the other yakuza guy, Sato
Mm-hmm.
comes, beats the crap out of this guy who was about to
Yep.
do some etchy stuff, and
Yep.
just kind of like tells Misaki
Yeah.
like
Stay
shh,
silent.
like stay silent, and Misaki's like all freaked out because
Yeah.
she thinks she's next.
Yeah.
But Sato is like,
Oh
no,
man.
it's fine.
Mhm.
And he starts beating the crap out of everyone. Even the hitmans are like, what
Those
the heck is
guys.
happening?
Yeah.
And Sato disarms them. And
Yep.
then he just,
Without killing anyone.
yeah, he just ignore them.
It's
And the hitman
crazy.
are like forever traumatized
Yep.
because they're
Yep.
like, why didn't he do anything to me? Like, am I
Am
not
beneath his
like
nose?
worthy
Yeah.
of being killed by this guy?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, maybe I'm not
Who
worthy.
are we dealing with? Yeah. Oh man.
And he disarms everyone.
Mhm.
Um, and the brother of the captain
Yeah.
uh, ends up
He
dying.
gets
Yeah, he gets killed.
Yeah.
And the captain was like, well, if we can avoid it, like I would like him
Mm.
to be alive, but if he gets
Oh yeah.
in the
If he makes this
crossfire
trouble,
or
then
something like that, it was like, I guess that's it, and we'll try to make an excuse for him to disappear, kind of like out of the organization. And yeah, he gets killed,
yeah.
but this other yakuza, he sees Sato and he's like, who's that guy? I want to know
Right. Right.
more. But that kind of well, at least that arc
Uh,
ends there.
yes. Yeah.
And that guy actually comes into play right after the it's the next arc after the anime ended.
Oh, he comes back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. Because at this point in time, it's all smoothed over, and it's like all taken care of. Um. Uh. And the captain did him. The captain finished him off, which I thought was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy, he didn't want to change his ways.
Yeah.
So the captain was like, dude, he's like, you're such an idiot. Like,
Right. Yeah. It's amazing. It's
But
incredible.
I mean, this is also during a
Mhm.
point in time where the captain gets heart problems.
Oh yes.
That's why the
It's
situation escalated a
hospitalized.
lot with
Yeah.
this guy, because the captain got hospitalized and he
Yeah.
was the
So
one
he's
keeping
away
in
for a
check
while.
on his brother.
Uh
And this is one of the things I think it's good that we're coming back at it.
yes.
The captain gets a visit from the
Oh,
boss
the
of
boss.
the organization
Oh yes, yes. In the hospital
in the
room.
hospital
Oh,
room.
dude.
and
I was so intimidated
and
by
he had
that.
a
He had a
knife.
knife.
And he's like, not
Yeah.
even a gun. He's like, oh, this guy is old school.
He's old school. Yes. And he even explains like about his knife. When a bad guy does that, I'm like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
they're the real
and,
deal.
and
So
that's when the
careful,
captain
careful.
knew
Oh yeah.
that he had screwed up,
Yep.
because he's like,
Because he basically tells him, hey, like Sato is there for a reason.
yeah,
I
he's
want
like,
him to
hey,
lay low and
I
not get
sent him on a
involved.
vacation,
Ah,
and you wanted to kill someone. He's like,
yeah,
your audacity. He's
yeah.
like, she's like, he pretty much just says like, do you have an idea how many times I can kill you before you scream? And I was
Right,
like, oh my god.
dude, and it's the boss. He knows what's up. So yeah, it's really interesting because we see the yakuza and the organization that yeah sometimes they have different like goals and stuff, but but the organization is still really powerful even though they don't have as many connections or
Well,
as big of an organization as the yakuza. They're
that's the
still
thing, that at
formidable.
that point you think that the
Yeah,
organization doesn't have a lot of connections. It's just
yeah.
an organization in the shadows that acts behind the scenes or
uh,
something. But at the end of the anime, you
yeah.
discover that that guy, he's either the ultimate evil or the ultimate good.
Yeah.
And we might cover just a few chunks about it,
Oh
but
yes,
it's
yes,
like, yeah, that boss, he
yeah,
is dangerous.
yes, yes.
And
uh
he just tells like, yeah, you know what, next time you want to involve Sato in something, it's gonna end really really bad for you.
yeah.
And he was like,
Oh boy.
and he kind of like finds a loophole later on, because he's like, oh, I
Mm.
cannot involve Sato directly, but if he gets involved indirectly, I won't get killed by the
Ah,
big boss. So he
uh,
kind of does something like that in the future. But
I see, I see.
that scared the crap out of the captain.
Yes.
That's why he was like, okay, yeah, you captured it. Thank you. Go
Yeah,
go with your bird and watch your favorite comedian,
yeah.
Joko, because
Jackal. Oh gosh. Oh man, Jackal. So funny. So freaking funny.
but
Uh,
but yeah, the next
yeah,
arc, I guess, for the last half of the anime,
yeah.
uh, it's uh, it's a group of scammers, pretty much.
Yes.
A group of scammers, and they have a girl with them. She's
Mhm.
on a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and her past is connected to one of Sato's jobs. Essentially, what these scammers are doing is that they are kind of like a private
Mm.
detective agency.
Mhm.
That But what they're doing is just like, they're just investigating people and then blackmailing them into telling
Mm.
them like, this is bad, you could get sued or go to
Yeah.
prison,
So if you
but you know
wanted
what, yeah,
to
we can
blow
help you
away,
improve this and that. And
yeah.
so that's how they get money.
Mhm.
And one of the first things that they get, it's
Mm.
the other designer.
Yes, yes, that's right. And because he's involved with Misaki in planting hidden cameras and things like that. Etsuji,
Yeah, I think
Etsuji
that's his name.
Kanuma. Yeah, and they go after him because they searched Misaki's place and found the camera, and they
Yeah, and they went to Misaki's place, and
yeah,
Misaki's still pretty freaked out after what she
yes,
just went through.
oh yes,
So this guy comes, and somehow he also has some has heard some rumors that she was recently used for that.
Right.
And eventually he also wants to blackmail her, but he's starting to kind of like, okay, hey, we're a private company for security. Do you mind if we go in to just make sure that everything's all right? We can even improve security and stuff. And that's when they
Mm-hmm.
find the cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and then they discover that this other guy was the guy that planted them, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, your house was perfect. There was nothing of the sort for you to be worried about. And then they call on this guy's mom.
Yeah, the mom. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is terrible.
And just pretty much tell the mom, like
Yeah.
on a meeting with him,
Hey,
like,
your son is a bit
hey,
of a
like
bit
what
of a
are your
low life.
hobbies? Like, oh, I work on this and I do this. Do you know this girl? Yeah, she's a coworker. Oh, well, it's a funny thing because we recently went to her house to perform some security checks, and we found some
Mm-hmm.
cameras. You know, it's really funny what those cameras can pick up on, and
Mm-hmm.
they just
They
showed
show
him,
the
like
screen
they
with
showed some
him.
footage with
Yeah.
Misaki changing her clothes or whatever, and
Yeah.
a big like footage of him installing the cameras, and the mom is like, "Oh, what have I done, my son?
Right.
It's a
Right.
criminal."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? You just
And they
pay
were
him some
like,
money,
yeah,
and we
and
can
then
make
we
this
can make it
disappear before
fix.
it escalates." The guy
Jeez.
becomes mad at Misaki.
Right. And also Sato.
and
Yeah.
and also Sato.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
He
because
basically
there was
blames it on
also,
him.
yeah, there was this one episode where he wanted to beat the crap out of Sato because he
Oh
was
yeah.
like a black belt in
Uh,
something, and he's like, yeah, I can beat the crap out of that guy.
yeah, he
And
was like
he's
training camp or something.
disguised, and Sato recognizes him, and he's like, oh no, no, blah
Runs
blah blah
away.
blah blah blah. It just goes
Yeah.
away, and so he's like, no,
Jesus.
I'm gonna get to Misaki next. And I mean that,
Yeah.
that never happens.
Yeah.
Because he's kidnapped by these guys, right?
Yeah. That's right. It's kidnapped, and um, he's taken up to the mountains, and he's uh gonna get buried there. I don't know what it is, but they always have like a digger up there.
Right, like
Yeah.
what's up with that?
What's up with that? Yeah. Well, anyway.
But and he ends
Yeah.
up dying.
Yeah.
That was a bit anticlimactic
It was. It
because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I thought they were just gonna scare him or something, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he died
He
in the
just
river,
ups
and
and
it's like,
dies. Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Right.
and more later on,
Uh-huh.
um, on this one, nothing happens to Misaki. Luckily,
Luckily, yes.
The damsel in distress on this arc, it's the
Mhm.
girl that works with this private agency,
Mhm.
and Joko.
Ah.
And this is kind of like quote unquote damsel in distress Joko, because we see
Ah.
otherwise.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because now we can give more background on the girl. This girl, she was there when I think 4 years before, when Sato completed a job and killed someone,
Yeah.
and she was there, and she was involved in an accident, and that's how she ended up in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really recognize Sato right away,
Yeah.
but Sato does recognize her,
Uh,
and he also recognized that she was not one of the persons that he was supposed to off.
right.
So he starts kind of like helping her, or more than helping her, just be there in the part where she is and make her uncomfortable.
Because she's there trying to do some physical therapy.
Yeah.
And like stretching her legs and trying to stand up. Yeah. But yeah, she calls him creepy, and the agency guys, they also kind of like learn about him.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
Sato. He works. He actually works with this guy that
Yeah.
we're trying to scam. Because at that point he was still alive, and then they also have a hitman with them.
Yep.
And this dude, he's pretending to be the girl's sister.
oh yes, the
brother,
girl's brother. Yeah,
the
yeah,
girl's
yeah.
brother,
Yes,
and
that's right.
he just goes to Sato and is like, "Hey, leave my sister alone," and
Yeah.
he punched him, and Sato's a pro, so he takes a punch, and he's like, "I'm sorry,"
Yeah.
and then he just goes to Joko and tells like,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you remember? Like, can you dig into this case from 4 years
Yeah.
ago?" And it comes out that he killed everyone, all of his targets except for
Except for
one.
one. Yep.
And he also discovers that these girls, she didn't have a brother. So he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So pretty much he discovers everything
Yep.
while
Basically.
the organization is planning on countermeasures for him
Mm, mm,
until like way later they make the connection. He's Fable, and
yes.
and
Yes. And they
and they're like, and we might
they're
still have a chance.
all right to off him.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, how
Yeah.
cute.
And it's really interesting because the hitman, he knows how dangerous Sato is, and he pulls a gun on the other guy and tells him, "Hey, like, hey, if you're gonna do this, like, I need to know your reason, because I'm not gonna go in there and risk my life just because you
Yeah,
are on a acting on a whim." Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was way.
yeah, and that guy is like, yeah, no, don't worry, I got this plan. Hey, he has a sister. Like, why don't you go to see
Yeah.
the sister? And this
Hey,
guy,
intimidate her, and
yeah,
then
this
you
guy
can go
goes to Yoko's house,
there. Yep,
and
yep.
he has the gun, and Yoko is just cooking,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You're not scared?" He's like, "Dude, I work with him." It's like,
Yeah.
you don't scare me, and they just sit down, and he's just
Yep.
like with the gun, and
He's
he's like,
he puts the
yeah, he
gun on the
puts the gun
table,
down.
thinking she's
Yeah,
not a
like
threat.
it's over. I have the upper hand, and
Yeah.
somehow she makes some sleight of hand or sleight of table,
Yep. Kicks
and
it.
yeah, kicks it, mobilizes him, takes the gun,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
So she's also dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, incredible!
And
It was incredible.
Sato gets home, and he's like,
Yep. He's super. He's super
"Did you invite him?"
calm.
He's like,
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. And he basically, like, he talks with the guy, and they discuss things that's going on, and he basically ignores this guy, this hitman, and the funny thing is they call each other pro, and Yoko is like, man, what is up with you guys, like, that's what I hate about you. Yoko is so funny. Yeah. um so he learns all of that. But yeah, they're like not intimidated at all. Yoko even drinks a little bit that night too. she's
freaking Yoko.
she's crazy. Yeah, always drinking. Um, so the hitman and the other guy from the scamming agency, they make a plan to kill Sato.
So yeah, they're preparing their plans because now
Mhm.
this guy is being paranoid, and also he's like, well, you know what? Until I don't kill Fable or he doesn't kill me, I'm not gonna be at peace. So he kind of convinced the girl um,
Mm,
to help, um, yeah, to help them to
mm.
kill Sato because he tells
Yeah.
her like,
Hey, he
hey,
killed your
he's the
parents
one that killed your parents.
and like slit their
Yeah, but
throats.
yeah,
Ooh.
and and she's like, no, this cannot be it. Like, just leave him alone. He's a regular guy. He cannot be the killer. But it comes to a point where they're trying to lure Sato. So at the beginning, they just put explosives on the apartment where they were having like
Mm,
staying in their offices,
mm.
and Sato discovers it.
Yeah.
He deliberately explodes the apartment and
Uh-huh.
leaves. And the assassin guy was like,
Yeah, he's watching
how
this.
in the world did he do
Yeah,
that?
he's on 2 floors below. Oh my. Yeah.
And yeah, they go to a forest.
Yep.
Um, Yoko Yoko gets played.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
Because she's sent to follow the hitman up the mountain
yeah.
into the forest. Um, the guy, he he's holding something. He goes like this, throws it at Yoko, and she dives away thinking it's a
Dude,
grenade,
that was a
but it
rookie
was just a
mistake. It was
trick.
a rookie mistake. It was like,
Ah,
and later
yeah,
Sato tells her like, yeah, you know what?
yeah,
If he really had a grenade, he wouldn't have let you see how he pulled the pin. He would have just tossed it
just tossed it.
way
Yeah,
before you noticed, so it would explode like that.
yeah.
That would have been the whole point. It's like,
Uh,
why would he want you
to
to
see you
see
pull the
how
pin.
he pulled the pin? It's like it's because
Mhm.
he doesn't have anything. And Yogi's like, okay, I'm stupid. It's like,
Right. Oh boy.
but yeah, it comes to final confrontation at the forest
Hmm.
where the girl is trying to shoot this guy, uh, and that's a little before Sato arrives. It's just Yoko and the assassin, the scammer, and the girl. And the girl is saying like, "Hey, I know that you killed my parents, you
Yes.
son of a mother."
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy is like, "Oh, I never thought you discovered it." Well, I don't
Mhm.
care. And this assassin is really fond of the girl.
Yeah.
Like he actually sees her as her little sister. So he
Mm.
he told the scammer like, "Hey, if you dare to touch her, I'm gonna kill you."
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it comes to a point where like this guy was nuts.
He
He
was.
planted
Yeah.
some like World War II mines
Yeah. All
just
around
to
the
kill
ground.
Sato,
Yep.
and the girl ended up like stepping
Stepping
on
on
one of
one.
those,
Yeah.
and Sato arrived, and he's like, "Hey,
Mhm.
dude, you lost." It's like, I'm not gonna kill you. Because it's like,
Yeah.
because you are not a target anymore.
Yeah.
Like you
It's
were
not
a
even
target.
my job anymore.
You escaped.
Mhm.
You are no longer my job. So I don't
Yeah.
care what you do with your life. And he's like, "Whoa, but I do care, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
avenge my brothers that you killed." And he's like, "Yeah,
Yep.
do whatever you like." And this is just like Sato, super hardcore, like super like OP moment
Yeah.
where they're going to do uh, pretty much just remove the dirt
Oh
around the
yes, around
mine,
the mine.
just so that the mine it's there.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna pull you. You're gonna grab that shovel, and you're gonna put the bucket of the shovel on the
Over
explosion
the
after
mine.
I moved her."
Uh-huh.
And it just happens so fast. He
Yep.
gets a bit of the explosion, but
Yeah.
he saves the girl. And when that guy was about to kind of like pull his gun or a grenade,
Oh
the
yes, a
assassin
grenade.
kills him.
Yeah.
And that was his plan, kind of like all along, either way, to get killed.
Ah, right, right. Yeah.
Because
He like had it all planned out or something.
yeah,
But yeah, the hitman kills him. I thought that was so good. I thought that was pure justice right there.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad he got knocked off. Oh man. So
Oh boy,
crazy.
and that's
Yeah.
that's how it pretty much ends.
Yeah,
Like
it ends
we
there.
skip a few other characters, like
Yeah.
this other like underling from the
Yeah.
captain that becomes obsessed with Sato
Oh
because he also
yes. Wants to
wants
become
to
a hitman
become a
too.
hitman,
Yep.
and
A famed hitman.
he also goes to the forest
Oh yes.
on a kind of like a 3-day training
Three-
with Sato.
Yeah. Oh, that was so great. I
And
loved it.
how he was
So
like
fun.
he had all his gear like if he was going camping.
Yeah.
uh,
And Sato has nothing.
and
Just
Sato is
his
like, "Hey, I need
knife.
a car," and part of the group of these scammers there was the guy that was supposed to hide the
Oh
body.
yes. He
uh,
brings a car.
yeah, like he wants to escape because he screwed up on the job, and he contacts uh, this guy, and Sato is like, "Hey, I need a car. Give me this."
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Like,
He'd do anything for Sato.
and then that guy
Yeah.
also ends up being off by the assassin.
Oh, the oh yes, the guy who was gonna take care of the
of the designer's body.
The designer's body. Yes, he
Yeah,
gets off too. Yeah,
yeah,
man,
because
there was a lot of deaths
he
in this
screwed up in
anime.
the job, and then he
Yeah.
wanted to escape, and the assassin was like, "So you wanted to escape?"
Yeah, not on my watch.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
that was
character
crazy,
what
man.
was the name of that assassin again?
Hiroshi.
Yeah, that guy does appear later.
Oh, really? I thought
Like,
he left Japan or. Okay.
I mean, he does leave Japan,
Ah.
but he does appear on the second part of the manga.
Oh.
And you know, now we can talk a little bit about the manga, like, or
Yeah.
you know, what season 2 could bring.
Oh,
Season
yes.
2 will bring the arc of this other yakuza that his name was Sunagawa. That was the guy with kind of like with the messed up eye.
Ah, okay.
That was
Yes.
that was the guy that was investigating the brother of the captain. He has also a rank, pretty much the same rank as the captain,
Okay.
but he's just a little lower, just a little lower. Kind of like on the line of
Okay.
succession,
Yeah.
the captain will become boss first before him.
I see.
But yeah, the next arc involves him, because that guy is just nasty. He wants to
Okay.
become he wants to become the leader, so uh he hires Fable pretty much,
No way.
or rather, he is contacted by someone from Fable, from the organization, that wants
Okay.
to stir up things. And you know, this this guy from Fable, he is also kind of like the second in command after the boss from the
From the
organization.
boss. Oh dear. So a lot of power plays going on.
Yeah, there's like a power struggle both
Yeah.
like in Fable and on the Yakuza organization. Misaki gets dragged in again.
No, not again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, Misaki
She
gets dragged in
involved
again.
in so much.
And there are two more guys from Fable that are introduced.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, that whole arc,
Yeah.
like if they were to adapt it, they can adapt all of it. It's great.
Nice.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
like we see Fable, and at the end,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, big spoiler alert.
Okay.
At the end, kind of like out of
Spoiler.
nowhere, he asked Misaki to get married, kind of thing.
No way. No way.
Like that's way
He
at the
was
end.
a little sweet on her, so what? No way.
But yeah, somehow like
Oh my
the
goodness.
relationship she has with Misaki, you know, becomes a little different, because he has saved her now a lot of times, but you never see it coming. You're like,
right. It's out of nowhere.
What?
Oh, dude.
What just happened here?
Oh no way. That's so
so
incredible.
So yeah, that's the end of the
Of that
of the
arc.
first part. At the end of the first part, they leave Osaka, and it's a little before they hit the 1 year mark, because he kind of like requests the boss for something. And the on the second part, there's a new organization that I forgot the name, which, you know, at this point is normal. But there's another organization working with another yakuza in Osaka, and they have also another battle.
Oh no.
And you know, this unlike Fable, because you know, like Fable are hitmen that are raised since childhood. So since they're kids, they're raised to become weapons, pretty much.
Yeah.
And this other organization, it's just pretty much they hire good assassins.
Oh, okay.
They're just, you know, really good at hiring really good assassins, and
I see,
they just manage more people.
Yeah.
But you know they
More
also
management
are
side.
elite.
I see.
It's like a different type of kind of like business. It's kind of
Yeah.
like goes the same path, but
Yeah, same path but a different
yeah, kind of like
recruiting.
you get the same quality, but different. You know, the different the way it gets done is different.
I see.
And at the end, it get discovered, like the connection that exists between these organizations, or between even the yakuzas, or rather, like how bad stuff is done in this world, and it's really messed up. Because
Oh,
Sato
okay.
discovers it, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I'm not doing this again." Because at the end of the first part, he's still kind of part of the organization, but at the end of the
Right,
second
right.
part, he just gets kind of like his last job that he gets dragged into, and he just
Interesting.
at the end he just tells his boss like, "Nope, I'm just gonna be with Misaki and see ya."
No way. Wow. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's interesting because even the boss said something to that effect of one of his motivations was he wanted to see Sato living a normal life.
yeah, and then you
Interesting.
you understand later why, and it was
Yeah.
because Sato was still really good at what he was doing. He was
Right.
definitely a pro,
Single-mindedly too.
but he was becoming obsolete.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah,
notice
yeah.
why he had become obsolete.
Uh,
And this is really heavy spoilers, and I didn't want to tell you this,
okay, okay.
but
Watch out.
so I'm just gonna be really abstract.
Okay.
Somehow it is kind of like introduced that kind of like subliminal messages, or kind of like radio waves or something, can make people just to want to end themselves, and that method is used with bad people to just off themselves.
This is going into more of like the supernatural.
No, I mean, yeah, kind of supernatural, but not quite there. He's just like, yeah, they're like, it's just suggestive. It's a suggestive method of kind of like a little voice inside someone's head saying like, of yourself, and if this person is bad, it can be used with them, and that person will off themselves.
Clean.
Yeah, clean, and they will
Hardly
be
any
like, oh yeah,
trace.
he just applied the auto death to himself.
Dang. Interesting.
That's why he was
That's
like,
a
yeah,
weird
Sato is
route.
obsolete, because in the future,
We could just use
like,
that method.
that method will be used far and wide. We won't need anyone else to dirty their hands. And it's like, holy
Ooh,
crap.
That's scary.
Yeah, like just read the manga, because it's that part
Yeah.
is super interesting. I try to be
Okay.
as abstract as possible,
Abstract.
just to
Okay,
avoid
okay.
any
Yeah,
really
yeah,
big
yeah.
spoilers. But oh boy,
Fascinating.
yeah, it is great.
Really fascinating. Interesting. Okay.
But,
I'm sold. I'll give the manga a go. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not that, it's like the second part is actually not that long. I think it has like half the chapters that the first part has.
Oh, okay. That's pretty short.
Yeah, that's why I finished the first and second part in one day, Brian.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow. Yep. Wow, that's incredible.
But oh boy, yeah, this was it for today. I hope you guys liked it.
Yep.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, since we're still gonna be doing the audiobook.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing, for liking it, comment this, that would actually help us a lot to make more content and see what we can improve.
Yeah.
We never
That's
really do
right.
that on the first season a lot, but yeah, please subscribe, just so that one day we can leave off this and be truly Jobless Weebs.
Yes. That's the dream. That's cool.
Well, how Jobless will be if we're gonna be recording and editing.
Oh, yeah,
like
that-
if
that
we
in
if we ever
itself
get
is
to leave
job.
out of it, it's like, yeah, we need to up our game or quality, but it's like, that's gonna be our job now. And it's like, oh man.
It's a job in itself.
But regardless, yeah, just I would like to make this a goal, which I don't know how much of a goal would be, to reach 700 before the end of the year.
700. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
please
Please subscribe. Oh yes.
please, yeah, no, yeah, subscribe if you liked it, or if you don't like it, yeah, just out of spite,
Out of
subscribe.
spite.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to this
Make
guy and
fun
never
of us
watch it
more.
again.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah,
Hey,
thanks for
I've been-
watching. Keep
Yeah.
watching anime, and we'll see you next time.
Matane.
Matane.